Welcome back to AM Northwest. What's the secret to a happy, long-lasting relationship? Well, here to share life lessons from happy couples, we welcome back our confidence coach, Laure Redmond. Great to see you again.
Hello.
Yeah, happy Friday.
Happy November, happy Friday.
Yeah, that's right, November.
Don't we love love?
Yes.
Before we went on air, we're talking about like couples and relationships, and I just think there's a fascination about what makes a couple work and what doesn't.
What makes them work, yeah. So you say you have 8 lessons from happy couples, but one thing is happy couples aren't always happy.
No, in fact, I think what the real takeaway is what they do when they become unhappy or argue or fight, because that's really where the pedal to the metal. It's like that's the thing you're trying to learn and get through to get back to happy or to find happy.
Right.
And no one will tell you they're always happy. It's what they do when they're not in a good place.
Calmness matters, you point out.
And this has to do with, I love these steps today because they really are applicable to any couple that wants to make it work.
Sure.
And the first is calm. One has to be calm. You can't both be elevated, escalated, activated. So when someone's going through a difficulty or they're having a storm in their life, the other person wants to go calm and regulate so that there's a balance and you can actually acknowledge what your partner's going through, but stay steady, easeful, calm. That gives support energetically to the one that's in the storm or the pain or the difficulty.
Right, that makes sense. You also talk about if infatuation is brief. So when you start out and you're all hot and heavy and excited, that's going to be a brief time.
Some people think that's like what it should stay or be, but I have studied the length of time infatuation really lasts, and it can be from 6 weeks to 2 years.
Okay.
So always wait 2 years to do something big in a couple.
Right.
But the thing that really sustains the love is the respect, the trust, and the shared growth. And that's not infatuation. That's when you're laughing more together than fighting, or cooking together, or walking. And these things that do create more of the trust and the care really are what sustains the timeline, not the infatuation. That's short-lived.
Yeah, I agree. Control is toxic.
Control is toxic in any form.
Sure.
But most people don't know they're being controlling. In psychology, we call it power over, or you're power under, but the goal is power with. And the opposite of control is listening. So if you can learn to listen to your partner, it sets up where the boundaries may be needed, a little more acknowledgement, but you don't ever have to get to the power over. Because a lot of people go there with a defensive mechanism, not so much aware that they're being controlling. But it never goes well if the control is part of the dynamic.
Can you give me an example of someone exerting control, but not in a traditional sense?
Yeah, not wanting someone to hang out with their friends.
Yeah.
You know, like someone wants to go out with a friend and the other person says that they don't approve of that, or they keep you from people you like.
Or making them feel guilty. Don't you want to be home with me? That kind of thing.
Exactly.
I got what you're saying. You say you will not grow at the same speed.
Which is really hard for people. The idea is you're both committed to growing. But someone may be healing quicker than someone else. Someone may be healing the inner child and becoming more of an adult than the one that still acts like a child. The idea is to really check in to see that you're both committed to growth, because you bring a lot of stuff into a relationship that is going to be reflected in the relationship and is going to need healing. And that is past relationships, that is family of origin. But you're not going to both excel at the same time. So the idea is not to take a score sheet and grade it, just to know you're both committed to the growth process.
So growth could be something like taking a class at the other, explain a little bit about what you mean about growth.
It's usually therapy or coaching.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
It's getting help with those demons that get triggered in the current relationship you're in. So you're projecting a lot onto the other person. But if someone can help you with that, you're going to learn from those projections. They're not going to destroy the connection.
You say don't argue to win.
Hardest one.
Hardest one.
I think it is.
No, I should win when I'm right.
Right?
Yes.
And that's the key word, is right. You don't want to argue with right, wrong, yes, no. It's got to be much more curious. Understanding is the goal. Being heard and seen is the goal. And often you can really feel where that arguing gets into the competition when someone quickly brings up what you did wrong when you're trying to tell them what you're upset about.
Right.
Like you want to just hold the space for what's happening for the other person before you react.
Yeah.
Because if you're reacting too quickly, it's going to be a competition.
Taking a break is important.
And this is where the break is often needed. You know, if you can't receive and give kindness in the difficulty, it's great to take a break. If it's dispute-based or activated-based, or you're in defensive mode, take a break for 2 weeks, I don't know, 2 days, some people 2 months. Have rules about the break, but energetically do not come back together in the argument until you feel kindness and self-awareness. And if you take the break, you can go work on your part of it.
Yeah. Positivity is a practice, you say.
People forget this, like little compliments or little acknowledgments. Like I hear a lot of women who speak about being the one that makes the food or cooks all the food each week or takes out the dog or does those little things, but they're never acknowledged for it.
Right.
So you want to be very aware that if your partner is the one that shops for the groceries, you say thank you.
Yeah.
You acknowledge it. And that positivity is a practice because it's a lot easier to focus on the negative.
Yeah, absolutely. All good tips. Laure, thank you very much.
So good to be with you.
So good to see you again. All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.